A new response to a Conservative order paper question shows us just how sneaky the federal Liberals are and how they can't keep their ridiculous stories straight. Today's order paper question came courtesy of outgoing MP Guy Lauzon. He's the Conservative MP for Stormont Dundas, South Glengarry, Ontario. Lauzon asked, with regard to abbreviations, code names, and code words used by departments or agencies, what is the complete list of abbreviations, code names, and code words used by departments and agencies in communications between the departments or agencies and the minister's office? And for each abbreviation, code name, or code word, whom or what does it represent or refer to? This order paper question is following up on the revelation that the Department of National Defense was using code words to avoid access to information inquiries about Vice Admiral Norman. Most departments answered back that they don't keep an official list. Well, that sort of makes sense. I mean, secret code words wouldn't do much good if you kept an official public list of them. Or in other instances, some ministries just provide a list of random acronyms that we all know, like telling us that the WTO stands for the World Trade Organization or that the PMO stands for the Prime Minister's Office. Thanks, tips. But two ministries leave me with more questions than answers. One ministry leaves us reading between the lines, and the other one can't keep their stories straight. The first is on page 91. Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada completely admits to using code words in their departmental communications to obscure official inquiries. Just look at this. As it relates to code names and code words in processing parliamentary returns, the government applies the Privacy Act and the principles set out in the Access to Information Act. Information has been withheld on the grounds that it may be injurious to the conduct of international affairs, contains advice to a government institution, information related to investigative techniques, or plans for specific lawful investigations, or personal information. Do you know what I think is happening here? Immigration is clearly one of the most anti-Trump ministries in all of the Canadian government. In fact, most of the catch and release immigration practices currently unfolding at our southern border, and the Liberals' complete and total failure to address our illegal immigration problem of failed asylum seekers from the United States who have first overstayed their welcome in that country. Well, these things are simply just to spite President Trump and his ban on travelers from Iran, Libya, North Korea, Somalia, Syria, and Yemen, and some people from Venezuela, failed states from around the world. Trump is enforcing immigration rules, so Canada is not. It's really just that juvenile. And I think IRCC bureaucrats are using code words to obscure just how poorly they talk about Trump, our closest ally and largest trading partner, saying things that, how did they put it again? Oh yeah, things that are injurious to the conduct of international affairs. I'd bet good money on that. And the other ministry, the one that just can't keep their official excuses lined up, is the Department of National Defense of all ministries. On page 179, the DND denies using any code words whatsoever. Just look at this. While the Department of National Defense and the Canadian Armed Forces, the DND or the CAF, do not use code names or code words, abbreviations are commonly used in communications. Many of these are long-standing abbreviations used for several years, spanning several governments. But that is not exactly true, is it? Like I mentioned off the top, this whole question was prompted by the assertion by Vice Admiral Norman's lawyer that the DND was using code words and code names to block her ability to find documents that would exonerate her client on charges of breach of trust after being accused of leaking cabinet secrets related to a $668 million contract to lease a supply ship for the Navy. Just look at this in the Ottawa Citizen. In December, the federal court heard from a military officer who explained about the method used by the Canadian Forces to avoid producing records about Norman that had been requested under the Access to Information law. The military witness revealed that his superior officer, a brigadier general, told him Norman's name was deliberately not used in internal Department of National Defense and Canadian Forces files, meaning any search for records under the Access to Information law about Norman would come back empty. And as reported in the CBC of all places, Norman's lawyer produced a list of words used in documentation to refer to Norman that had been obtained through Access to Information. They include Kraken, MN3, C34, and The Boss. Despite earlier denials from General Vance about ever using code words, now Vance says the DND actually does use code words, but he claims it's just for different reasons other than obscuring and blocking ATIP investigations, which is in direct opposition to the response the DND just gave to this order paper question and the information Norman's lawyer presented to the court. You know what Judge Judy always says? If you're telling the truth, then you don't have to have a good memory. It's just something for the DND top brass to think about. For the Rebel.media, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. Here at the Rebel, we do access to information investigations into the Liberal government that you won't see published in the mainstream media. So one of the best ways to support our work is to help us spread the word about the work we do. Like and share our content, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.